Hello, and welcome to SoulFessions. I'm your host, Molly Ray. To live a life full of joy, happiness, and connection, to connect with our most authentic self, we must be willing to confess where we are in life. I have worked through many traumatic life events, including giving birth to twins 3 months early. My healing began when I was ready to confess exactly how I was feeling and the work I needed to do to release the pain. I honored my feelings and used my loving connection with music in the healing process. Join me as I speak honestly about my journey and how you can begin your journey of healing and finding joy. It all starts with a SoulFession. Hello and welcome to the SoulFessions podcast. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am and how the podcast came to be. So music has always been a huge part of my life. Such a large part of my life that for the last 15 years I have been teaching privately violin, viola, and vocal lessons. And I've also played and have been playing professionally, mostly private events and especially wedding ceremonies. Part of the reason why I chose to teach privately instead of going into a school, as my degree is in music education, was that I really felt like if I had the ability to teach one-on-one, I would be able to reach my students on a deeper level. And I know and understand that everybody has a different way of learning and understanding things. And I really wanted to be able to, as a teacher, to find what each student's learning style is and really teach to what works for them. And I feel like sometimes that can get lost when you're teaching a big group of people. So I have been absolutely loving doing that. Then I got married and had children. My twin girls came 3 months early and spent 147 days in the NICU. They truly are my miracle babies and played a very large role in my spiritual awakening. It was in that moment of knowing that I could lose my children and understanding that they had to take them by emergency C-section due to an infection that I had acquired after my daughter broke her water was really awakening for me. Just made me start looking at life differently. It made me really view life in a way of what really is important to me and what isn't important to me. And one thing that is so important to me is that I do not continue the ancestral legacy of my family. And what I mean by that is there is a lot of abuse in my family, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. I have been part of experiencing that. And it has gone from generation to generation to generation. And when my girls were born, I made a conscious choice to do the work that I needed to do in order to raise them differently. I wanted to stop the pattern, the family patterns, and I have made it one of my biggest goals to continue to heal, to continue to move forward, and to continue to raise my beautiful daughters differently. And part of that motivation wasn't just the fact that they were born early and the three of us almost didn't make it. And there were a lot of touch and go situations, which I will talk about in later podcasts, more about their story and our journey navigating the NICU. But watching them have such a fighting spirit was so encouraging to me. Watching my children have such a loving and kind and understanding personality. This is part of who they are. It's so inspiring to me. I didn't get to see that growing up. I didn't really feel that growing up. And it's amazing how our children can teach us so much if we're willing to open our eyes and receive what they are willing to give us. And I think sometimes we can get stuck on the idea that we're teaching them, but they're teaching us just as much as we are teaching them. And so part of my spiritual awakening journey, it's really caused me to have to dig deep and be honest. And be honest with who I am, what I'm feeling, where I want to go in life, and be honest about what happened. Secrets can really sever relationships and our souls. And we all deserve to feel joy and happiness. And we all deserve to live our most authentic lives. And in order to really do that, we have to dig deep, be honest with where we're at, and tell the truth. Sometimes that involves telling the truth to others about how we're feeling, and many times it involves us telling the truth to ourselves. And this is what I call a SoulFession. A SoulFession is willing to go within your soul and connect and be honest with where you're at and who you are. And be honest with where you want to be, with what you want your journey to look like. For me, I don't have all the answers yet. I am just as much of an imperfect being as everyone, but it's the imperfection that really, truly allows us to grow and to be the best versions of ourselves. It's in those moments where we are imperfect that we can learn the most if we're willing to really take the time to see them and to be honest. And this really is what our SoulFessions look like. It is being willing to open our hearts and be vulnerable and allow ourselves to be as raw and honest about everything, no matter the cost of relationships, no matter the cost. I say no matter the cost because when we are not being honest with what is really going on in our lives, that cost is our happiness. So it's time for us all to step back, to look at ourselves for who we are, to be honest about it, and to be willing to say, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and this is who I truly want to be. And sometimes being who we truly want to be does require letting go of some people in our lives. And that's okay. It's okay because when we close one door, another door opens. And we cannot truly allow and bring in people who are going to love and support us for who we are, exactly where we are, until we are ready to be who we really are. So this podcast is going to take you on the journey of my life. I'm going to be honest with all of my SoulFessions. with where I've had to go, the work that I've had to do, the silver linings, and the work I'm still doing, because we always have room to grow. And I'm still growing. I really hope that you are ready to have your SoulFessions and go on this journey with me, as I will not only speak about who I am and my SoulFessions and where I'm going in life and how I learned to grow from my lessons, but I also will be giving you tools and different perspectives and things to think about that will help you to be honest so that you may live your most authentic life. So thanks for joining me on this journey. Have a blessed and beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in with me today. If you are enjoying the podcast, please like it and share it with your friends and family. To learn more about my soul movement coaching, sound therapy, and other services, you can visit my website at www.tuneinwithmolly.com.